for learning spine, okay, when you do yoga, the most important part what? Is our spine, right? In yoga practice, the most important part is our spine. Of course, we know for backward bending, the spine is important. But do you know forward bending, also the spine is important. Twisting, spine is important. Side torso stretches, spine important. Besides savasana, every pose is the spine importance there. Now, if we do not have much understanding on the spine, which will be feeling difficulties in our practice. So today, we'll be learning the spine anatomy. Okay? Now, in order to learn the spine anatomy, few things we need to learn in this skeleton that we call from the top here all the way down, that is we call spine, right? Now, how many each and every curve, this is we call vertebra. Vertebra. Okay? So, in between the white vertebra, the gray part is called disc. Disc. And the white part is the bony surface, is called vertebra. Okay? Now, how a vertebra looks like? How a vertebra looks like? A vertebra looks like this. A vertebra looks like this. Okay? So, this white piece is the vertebra. All the way with the behind, the pokey part, two side, one in the behind. Now, the front part, this is the front. So, if it's front here. Okay? And this is the back. Clear? Not other way around. Okay? Now, the red part here, it's the disc. We call slip disc, right? The red part is a disc. What is the disc? Is a cushions. Is a cushion between the two vertebra. So when I bend backwards, when I bend forwards, it's moved from here. And when I squeezing down, so the cushion is there. The one vertebra doesn't hit to other vertebra. Yes. Now what happens if we have a scoliosis, or if we have a slip disc, if we have a degenerative spine? Basically, the gels are being leaked out. So what happens when there's a compressions between two vertebrae? Let's say creating compression. Look here, I'm creating compressions. The gels are come out. The gels are come out. The moment gels come out, they touch the nerves. The yellow is the nerves. And then this is gel, soft format. Right now, nothing happens. After 6 months, this gel will be dry. Once it's dry out, they hold the nerves and will be stopped circulating. Or in certain pose, if it's this in this position, and then you try to create additional compression, certain poses you begin to feel certain compressions and numbness come. Well, so this is a vertebra looks like. Now behind the vertebra, this is called spinal processor. Okay, the side of the vertebra, this is called transverse processor. So this is the vertebra. The back of the vertebra is spinal processor. Side of the vertebra is a transverse processor. Okay, just for your knowledge. Now over here, if you see, there's a nice big hole. This is for the spinal cord. This is for the spinal cord. So behind the spine, this hole where the spinal cord run through. So this is the spinal cord. And from every vertebra in between these two nerves, you see, every vertebra, the two nerves come out. See, two nerves come out. So every vertebra, there will be two nerves coming out. And they will be run different part of the body. And that's the way the whole spine have been designed. So from your cervical, you see the yellow nerves come out. Every vertebra, the yellow nerves coming up. Same for lumbar, thoracic, lumbar, all the way. So that's our spine design and looks like. Clear? Now how many vertebra we have? Cervical, we have a 7 vertebra. Okay? Cervical is the neck. So C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. So we have a 7 vertebra in our cervical. Okay. Now we do have thoracic. How many vertebrae we have in thoracic? 12 vertebrae in thoracic. T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9, T10, T11, T12. Thoracic is the chest, the middle back. Okay. Lumbar. How many vertebrae we have in lumbar? 5, which is L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. Now why C? Because cervical. Why T? Because thoracic. Why L? Because lumbar. Clear? So 7 vertebrae in cervical, 12 vertebrae in thoracic, 5 vertebrae in lumbar. Then we have a sacrum. This part we call sacrum, which is here, which is, this is sacrum. Okay, this is the sacrum. Now sacrum is the fuse bone. Fuse bone means they are all the vertebrae together. Now 9 vertebrae together created sacrum. They are non-frozen. This is frozen. Means the sacrums has almost no move. All the vertebrae are being fused together, create the sacrum. How many vertebrae? 9. 5 is in the sacrum, 4 is on the coccyx. Coccyx is the tailbone, this part. So 5 vertebrae create the sacrum and 4 is cause the tailbone, okay, which is called coccyx. Now together 5 plus 4 is 9 vertebrae. So this is the 9 vertebrae. This 9 vertebrae has no movement because they are being together, fused. Now movement come from the L5. This is called L5-S1 joint. Why S1 joint? Lumbar 5 and sacroiliac joints. Now this is the most damaging joints if you look at here, because there's the biggest space you have. The more space you have, more space you take in your backward bending, in your forward bending. That's why these joints have been damaged a lot. After that L5 is you got a space, L4, L3, L2, L1. So the more above you go, lesser the space. More below you come, more the space. Okay, that's why you are able to move from your lumbars more than your thoracic and your cervical. The disc space are thicker and bigger. Okay, now one thing I want to share with you, this is the way we all have been learning, by looking at the books, several anatomy books and the skeleton. Now our understanding that how big a vertebra can be. When I have gone through several dissections, cadaver dissections, a human body's lumbar is this big. That also varies based on the height and the size of the person. I was so shocked that my 2 hands cannot catch one body's lumbar vertebra, that strong and big. Why they need to be strong and big? Because they are the one carrying the whole upper body weight. And we have been moving the body every single day, several times in several directions, and it has its ability to bring the body back into its own positions. So total how many vertebrae we have? 33, 3. Why? 7 plus 12 is 19. 19 plus 4 is 24. Correct? 24 plus 9 is 33.
19 plus 5, 24.
Yeah, 24 plus 9 is 33. So cervical C1 to C7, number 1. Thoracic T1 to T12, number 2. Lumbar L1 to L5. And sacrum is a 9 vertebra, which is 5 on the sacrum, 4 in the coccyx. Coccyx is the tailbone. Certain times we does this, both pose, and we feel pain. That is the tailbone, the coccyx bone. Okay, so this is the 33 vertebra form our spine. Certain thing to know, the first vertebra above over here C1 called atlas, and second vertebra called axis. Okay, all written in the books actually. Okay, so atlas and axis are designed differently. Why that so? Because atlas vertebra designed differently to support the skull. Top of the atlas, so top of the atlas vertebra designed differently because they can support the skull, the head. And below the atlas vertebra designed differently to support the C2 axis. Okay, atlas and axis C1 and C2. Then from C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, all the same design. That's why often if you do therapy, if you know anyone has issues in the neck, they always call C3, C4. They don't call C1, C2. Because C1 and C2, they are C1 supporting the skull and C2 supporting C1. Okay? C1 supporting the skull, C2 supporting the C1. From C3, they are the one moving the neck. So my neck movement, most of the time C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. Not only C7, C6 until C6. Certain time C7, certain movement coming. 3 to 7. Okay, that's why all the compressions on the neck, all the pain onto the neck is between 3.2 to 3.7. If you read MRI, if you got any one neck pain problem, you realize the pain and problem between 3.2 to 3.7, C3 to C7. Okay. Now problem occurred not on the back of the neck, because that is the spinal processor. happens onto the front of the neck, that's the vertebra, and the side. For the neck wise, most of the time is a transverse processor here, not the spinal processor, is in the transverse processor. So we will not move into therapy in this teaching right now, we are only learning the anatomy. Now first thing, once you learn the anatomy, we understand how the bone is exists into the body, that's the layer 1. Thereafter we will learn how the muscles exist on the top of the bone, and then we can understand the functional movement of our body. Now what is functional movement? How the body moves on its own or with our instruction. Then only we will be understanding why certain injury happens and why some people can do some posture very easily but it's almost impossible for others. And when this other person who is almost impossible for him or her to do the pose, but he or she is instructed to do this posture, what going to happen? The person will have a compressions and which equivalent to injury. So that's the reason we need to understand our spine so deep details. So this class is understanding the spine first, understanding deep details, touch it, feel it, understand question and answer. Then we will be going to the next is the muscles. And once you got into the muscles, thereafter we will be understanding the function of each and every part of the movement. That will be giving us a lot more answer. Why injury happens, why I cannot do it, why my friend can do easily, why my friend always pain, I'm not in the pain, all these things come because it's all about based on your existence. Isn't it interesting? Now last part of it is, see this piece, you call pelvis, right? So this is attached to your sacrum. So do note that this is called sacroiliac joint. So this is called sacroiliac joint. Ilium and sacrum together, sacroiliac joints. Now where your ilium and the sacrum connected. Now this joint is almost non-movable. Some of us has a loosened the ligaments here and over pressure they can have a little space create, but other than that they don't really move much. Now just one question I will ask you, I'm not going to be answered, just one question to ask. If someone has any form of problem into the lumbar or the sacroiliac joint, or one hips up, one hips down, will the person have a problem into the lumbar? If someone, one hips is higher than other hips, is the person going to feel any issues on the lumbar? Have, correct? So if the person begin to feel certain kind of pain in the lumbar, but the problem is not in the lumbar, the problem come from somewhere else. Understand? Now when this person ignoring the pain, because the muscles has the power of resistance into the body, strong muscles go to gym, carry weight, run, strong body. So the muscles has its own resistance, and when the muscles has its own resistance, what going to happen? The muscles will not bother you much until it cannot take it. Then will they started to transfer the weight to somewhere in the ribs or thoracic, like lumbar back pain, I begin to see it this way. Have? Then the person begin to feel the pain over here in the ribs area, correct? And then the person will begin to feel any uncomfortable in the shoulders, possible? Then the shoulder pain appear. And will the person begin to feel something on the neck? Because the shoulder muscles connect to the neck? Have, right? Now you're confused. This is the truth. This is the truth. That someone have a pain, one hips bone higher than other hips bone for some reason, and the person begin to feel uncomfortable. Why on the lumbar? Because sacroiliac joint is almost immobile. So sacroiliac joint doesn't get, lumbar get it, lumbar is mobile. The person has a strong muscles, resistant, strong-minded, managing it. What do you do? Sometimes yoga, sometimes therapy, sometimes massage, sometimes acupuncture, sometimes swimming, just managing it. Over the time, if it's not being cured from the root of the problem, it might compensations, oh, my lumbar pain, so I sit this way. In the office, I sit this way. In the standing, I sit this way. And that's happened to be transferred up. And these muscles once being transferred up, they're pulling the scapula down. Anything you want to do with the left hand's uncomfortable, begin to the neck. So that's where the interconnections come into the body in the musculoskeletal structure. It is too complex. You only get to know all the answer if you keep on asking the questions to yourself. If not, this is a too complex theory. It's taken me at least a good 12 to 15 years to reach here to know a little bit about. Okay, little bit and 15 years of researching, working, attending courses, training, teaching, studying, dissecting, anatomy, that's, I could say that 20% probably I know. Because every human being is different. We are very complex. So try not to act that you know. Try not to become with that this is going to help me, that is going to help me. Why I'm sharing with this? You need to understand the anatomy. You also need to have a questions into your mind that once you know the anatomy of the skeleton structure, the muscles, over the times, any pain or sensation you feel into your body, you begin to question yourself. Why and what? Do not try to find the solution first. Once you're asking questions, over the time you'll get an answer. Those of you yoga teacher, therapists, going to be doing in the future or have been doing it right now, you need to be extra careful on human spine. It's not you injuring someone, the person already injured. By touching, you will not going to injure someone. It's just each and every one you work with, the person giving you an opportunity to learn. Actually, you are not solving their problem. You are learning from their problem. You have to change your mindset. Then you will begin to learn. So that will be our spine for today. Thank you.